In my first book, published in '09, Reclaiming National Sanity, I talk about the laws, or the principles under which we function. I also mention the name of the 45th President of the United States, who is committed to those laws. And in the other book, American Patriot, Spiritual Patriot, you will see the why, and you will be able to connect the dots. It shows why the laws are what they are, with regard to why our founders used those 4 laws. And that once that is implemented, then it's, like I said, 2 years to recover. That individual has the experience, has seen the ins and outs, and fully realizes that half measures will not work. That as a nation, come together and completely give ourselves to those 4 laws or 4 principles with simplicity and honesty. Within a year and a half of January 2013, you'll be able to see the difference. In 2 years, there will be recovery, and in 3 years, there will be no doubt that the decisions you made as individual Americans was the right decision. That individual needs your backing. That person cannot do it by themselves. If you want to know who it is, pick up Reclaiming National Sanity, Our Nation Under God. Mention his name. Pass the book on. It's not about the man, it's about the principles. The book isn't about me, it's about the principles that I had to implement. They take me out of it, the principles are still there. Those laws or principles, they don't care which side of the river you're standing on. They're going to be there for you, your posterity, your children, your grandchildren, but they're going to have to pick it up for themselves. It has to be voluntary, and it is. And by voluntary, it's this is doable, I'm going to do this. And then the czars will be eliminated. Then those other committees, which is really a miniature form of czars. And the intrusiveness of government will begin to dissolve away. And the purity, which is the 3rd principle or the 3rd law that I mentioned in Reclaiming National Sanity, the purity begins to come back to our nation. And getting behind this individual will be the best thing you ever did. And get the book and then read it. 60 pages, big deal. That's Reclaiming National Sanity, Our Nation Under God. The other one is American Patriot, Spiritual Patriot. Both being requirements. One nation under God. I mean, that's my personal experience, but eliminate me. I'm nothing. I'm not all that in a bag of chips. Like I said, I'm not a full meal deal. This man has given his servitude to it. He's been in it. He's seen it. He knows what the intrusiveness of government does to a nation. And he has watched it happen and knows precisely how to get rid of the intrusive interference that has taken over the country, based because of all of the dishonesty, the lying. Like, yeah, oh, you can't afford something? Well, go get it anyway. No, you can't afford it. Don't go get it. Be that straightforward. Like I pointed out earlier you know, there are individuals that can't afford things, and we do help them. But Grandma, if your children have dumped the grandchildren off on you, you tell them to come pick them up and learn. Everybody wants a job. Work is any work you do. That is the job of the day. That's your job. Go pick up a help wanted sign, walk in, carry it to the manager or the boss and say, here, I am. Instead of filling out paperwork to try and get something without any sweat off of your own brow. That takes courage. You're going to get yourself bloody. You're going to be beating the pavement, and your feet are going to get bloody and blistered. So, I hope that you'll pick up those books. It's not about me. They're specifically about the principles and why the principles are what they are. Once that is implemented and the nation gets behind the individual mentioned, then our country will reclaim sanity. That does not mean you're going to be rich. That does not mean you're going to have everything you want. That does not mean you are going to be on the top tier of everything. You're a participant and a practitioner, just like the rest of us, doing the next right thing based on those 4 principles or laws, which have been unchanged since time began, irregardless of our communication tools. And that's all they are. Tools. Computers. This golf cart is a tool. Get me from point A to point B. If you can't afford bells and whistles, don't get bells and whistles. Everybody wants the bells and whistles. They're great. Work for them. Our national government needs a thorough, top to bottom house cleaning. It is not personal. Haven't got anything against anybody up there. They can stay or go, but their staying or going will be contingent. Their capability of being honest with themselves and with others. They're not incapable of it. Not one of them up there is incapable of being honest with themselves. So take a look at, oh yeah, I've been doing all this just, to grease my slide. I hadn't thought about the common welfare of Boy, I've been sure talking it. I call it parrot talk or preacher crap. They're not incapable of being honest, and if they are, you ain't going to receive a paycheck. Let's see if you're going to show up to work without a paycheck if you're not going to implement these laws. Because if you're not going to do that, if you're not going to come up here and serve with honesty, simple, straightforward honesty, then I got no use for you, and you're not going to do this nation any good at all. You're just going to CYA 100% of the time. You're not going to get to the higher brotherhood of this country. You take care of yourself. C.S. Lewis put it best. C.S. Lewis wrote the 4 different loves. Eros, which is me. I got to go out and get to work. And I take care of me. Okay. Then after a while, you get married and have some children, and then you get into storge, which is bloodline love. For your family and your children. You love them. You love yourself, and you love children. The highest form, or the third highest form, is brotherhood. That's thicker than blood. You sacrifice for the good of the commonwealth. That's like way back there in the 1700s, and I have in the 1957 Jamboree, Boy Scout Jamboree booklet on the cover of it at Valley Forge. Americans with their feet wrapped up in cloth to fight, bleeding for brotherhood. Not going to settle for anything less. You're not going to step on me. You're not going to govern, regulate, and control me so that you can get what you want. You're going to do it. There's only a very few that will do that and learn brotherhood. Most are born in self-love, me first, Eros, C.S. Lewis called it, touching storge, bloodline love, doing things for sacrifice for the family, and you oscillate back and forth there. Brotherhood, oh, that's a biggie. And that's what the men at Valley Forge were doing. The few that remained and held the course. Be one of them. And that was put out in 1957. It's not old, but it is old when you look back at the beginning. The principles are still here, the individuals are not. Where's your courage? Just look at somebody straight in the eye and look at them and tell them, well, if you don't want this, then you're a quitter. We cannot use quitters or people that just totally look out for themselves and then manage to put together a committee that thinks like they do and not one thought of the nation.